Hey guys, what's up? It's DSilver17 here, and today I got another cool video coming at you guys. Sorry for the delay, but it has some cool things going on, but I've been planning this for a while now. So here we go. Now I'm going to bring you guys some news about my thoughts on the Apple Watch and my thoughts on the LG G4. But first off, I'd really like to mention that the Apple Watch is really a good product. If you think about it, Apple kind of needed its own product to separate itself apart in the smartwatch market. With this, Apple has its product, but there are a couple of flaws. One being its huge price point. If you look at a lot of other smartwatches, they either start at maybe $200 and rise from there. Or maybe they'll have like just 2 configurations and they'll be way lower priced than the Apple Watch Sport. The Apple Watch Sport comes in at a whopping $350, which is more pricey than the Moto 360, which really is its main rival, in my eyes. Which comes in about, it's going for about like $180 now for the base model Moto 360. So I mean, just that price gap really can just influence your decision so much more, and a lot of people even sway towards Android Wear because they have a lot more options rather than the Apple Watch. So here's the Apple Watch Sport coming in at around $350, depending on what you get. It has a rubber band. This is the Apple Watch, which is the mid-range at around $500, $600 or something like that. It gives you a more premium feel. And then we move on to the Apple Watch Edition, which gives you the utmost premium feel. Starts at around $10,000, so you have to be a serious watch collector for this. While you just took a look at that, some of the key points of the Apple Watch are its compatibility with its iPhones. So here we go again, the Apple ecosystem is kicking in again, and now you have another thing to add on to your Apple home, or whatever the heck you want to call it. We probably have an iPad, an iPhone, a Mac, what's next? An Apple Watch, So if you guys have an iPhone, an iPad, a Mac, an Apple Watch would be a perfect addition to your cluster of devices. But I mean, if you have just an iPhone, it might not be totally worth it because you only pay for a 2-year contract. In the next 2 years, you might not be having an iPhone, and the smartwatch you have might not work with your phone. That being said, it's a pretty big price to pay when that does happen if you plan to move from an iPhone to an Android device after buying an Apple Watch. You pay pretty much double what a Moto 360 costs, and then in 2 years you can't use it. It's pretty astonishing how fast technology advances also, because you gotta think about it, someday all these devices are gonna be out of date and you're gonna want a new one. So you're really gonna want to pay that much money for an Apple Watch. Maybe in 2 or 3 years you're gonna want another one. Just another thing really to consider when buying one of these products, any product, any technology product, for an example an iPhone or an iPad, you're always going to want the newer generation a year or 2 later, and it's always going to have some advantages or disadvantages that you're going to argue for and stuff like that. Another extremely cool feature about the Apple Watch though is that it actually runs full apps, Apple Watch apps, while other devices will kind of just run maybe quick shortcuts on your wrist or something. An Apple Watch will actually run full apps. This will include maybe like Instagram, there's an Uber app, there's a couple other ones that are out there too, there's a couple games actually that are on there, as opposed to some Android watches that don't have the App Store selection that Apple Watches have. That's one disadvantage for the Android side. But then again, are you really going to keep your phone, an iPhone, for more than 2 years is the question. Are you going to be able to use it in the next 2 years? So you have to take that into account too. It actually has a lot of sensors on it, the Apple Watch, and I think that's what actually drives up the price, because it can actually be used as a fitness tracker, and it's a very good fitness tracker. It has all these different sensors, your heartbeat sensor and all that stuff. You actually even send your heartbeat to other people. So I mean, yeah, you gotta look at it on a day-to-day basis. Would you use this thing every single day, and is it worth the price for you in the next 2 years? But now here are my thoughts on the LG G4. So I've been thinking about the LG G4 for a long time now, and I really gathered my thoughts, and this is actually a really information-packed segment. So here we go. I honestly think the LG G4 is a great phone. It's probably one of the best phones that's going to be in 2015. So as you saw, it came out with the Snapdragon 808 processor, not the 810. I think the reason they did this is because of the overheating rumors that the 810 had. It's a hexa-core processor. It's no slouch at all. It's a really nice chip. They're also going to put 3 gigabytes of RAM in there, and it's actually going to be priced a little under what I was expecting at $600. Usually smartphone flagship phones are $650 and up. So I mean, that was a little plus there, and it looks nice. It looks kind of like last year's LG G4, but it also depends on which backing you get. There's a leather backing. There's there's all these different kinds of backings. You guys can just go check them out yourself. But yeah, you have a lot of options when you actually make your LG G4. That's if you get it on LG's website. If not, you're going to be picking up in the store, and there's going to be some basic configurations that are going to be out there. You can pick those too. They'll be fine. The phone runs like a champ. I mean, there's obviously going to be no slaps. The 808 isn't a slow chip at all. Other than that, it really doesn't offer any other different experience from the LG G3. It was a great phone, the LG G3, but I think the G4 kind of just added on and fixed a few things. Noticeably, the screen. So the screen was a great screen. It's a QHD. It's 2560 by 1440. I think it was at an incredibly high pixel density, like crazy high, like something like 530 or something like that. It's really high. It's a great screen. The colors are way more accurate on the G4 than they are on the G3. Not that the G3 screen was horrible or bad, but it was just a little inaccurate. You could actually see it at some points rather than others. And on the G4, you can actually see that they are fixed now, and it's a really good phone. But one real big thing that I think is really going to draw a lot of people to the LG G4 is its removable back, which allows access to SD card expansion and a removable battery. Now, a lot of people are saying yes, and a lot of people are saying no to that. A couple reasons to agree with that would be because when your battery dies, or it's been used a lot and it kind of doesn't hold its charges long enough anymore, you can always buy a new battery, put the battery in, and you'll be fine. You'll have pretty much like a new phone, new battery sort of thing. And you can also, with the SD card, you can add expansion memory and stuff like that. I mean, if you could buy maybe like the lowest end model for storage capacity, and then bump it all the way up some crazy number again. I mean, it's amazing what they can do nowadays. They can put more storage in there. You can store whatever the heck you want. You can transfer data a heck of a lot easier. And you also have the option to do the cloud storage and stuff like that, like the other phones do. A disadvantage, however, would really have to be that you don't really get that premium quality and feel that you would get on maybe an iPhone. It's all aluminum and the back is sealed. However, on this phone, it still feels very nice, still gonna look nice. You're not gonna have that, really nice, stunning look. Unless you go for one of the crazier end models and get like a leather back or something like that, or a cooler, not crazy, but you know what I'm saying. If you go for something like that, then you're gonna get a little wow factor. I mean, on an iPhone, all aluminum and glass, maybe iPhone, like the iPhone 5, 5S, or a glass back like they had on the 4S, or like even the aluminum back of the 6, you're gonna get a couple like, ooh, that's a nice phone. But on this phone, usually, the majority of people are gonna stick with the plastic backing. I mean, it's gonna look nice, but it's not gonna be like that big wow factor. A lot of companies have kind of failed to put an aluminum backing on a phone that has a removable back, and if they did, they failed to make it look nice and function properly. They really have to try to find a balance between functionality and looks and all that. Alright guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to stay tuned and subscribe. I'll have another video coming out sometime this month, or maybe like first week of the next month or something. I don't know. It'll be soon.